A very good evening and welcome to the program, The Law of the People and Governance here on Spectrum Television. It's a beautiful Wednesday evening and in the city of Uyo, where Spectrum TV is located. This is a program that bridges the gap between the government and the people. My name is Rachel David White. Well, today on the program, we'll take a look at different political trends as it concerns Nigeria, and of course we will try to break them down and talk about them one after the other. It's going to be very interactive, so you can be part of the conversation. We'll drop a phone line where you can join, drop a text or a WhatsApp message, and of course you can also put a call across to us. Now let's get to the first report we'll be looking at. Well, today President Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented the budget before the joint session of the National Assembly at the temporary chamber of the House of Representatives. Well, the budget presentation is the first since assuming office exactly 6 months ago. Well, I don't want to break down the budget today, so I just study this budget and then we'll x-ray it together tomorrow, but just to mention it to you. Away from that, Keziah Oko, the Chief Press Secretary to Abia State Governor Alex Oti, has said the Okezie Pazu's administration wittingly met the old and new government houses uninhabitable. Oko, who took newsmen around the new and old government houses located in Ogurube Layout and Afaruku Villa, respectively, yesterday disclosed that the officials of the Ostad regime looted every item in the old government house, and while no plan on security, protocol, electricity, architectural design, durability, spacing or anything was made during the construction of a new government house, while Oko insisted that his boss would not take up any of the buildings as a residence because none of them is presently conducive for habitation for any person, let alone the chief executive of a state. Meanwhile, Abia State Governor Alex Oti has lambasted the immediate past governor, Keziah Pazu's administration, for making the new and old government houses inhabitable itself. Oti expressed his anger. Of course, he says, according to his press secretary, who took newsmen around, like I already says, he actually expressed dissatisfaction and how the looks of the place. Of course, to him, it's not a place he or anybody else would like to find themselves in. Well, there was no protocol, no architectural design, durability or anything, let alone a place for him as the chief executive of the state to stay. And moving away from that right now, I think before I get down there, recall that sometime last week, Alex Oti was being knocked and, of course, commended by different Nigerians, of course, when the report trended on social media and, of course, in their government media as well, expressing that he spent a whole lot of billions of naira, I must say, to refurbish government house, to pay, his staff, to sort out the deputy governor's office and other items, and of course in all those billions, and even for meals as well. Then I think when Nigerians had many concerns was the part where 25 million naira only was allocated for education, out of which lots of millions, 200 and something plus, was allocated for drinks, meals, furnitures, cars, buses, and all of that. And so many Nigerians felt that that amount was too much for education in a state where they have dilapidated structures and schools. According to them, their schools are a scene, they're eyesore. It's something that, a place where nobody would love to send his or her ward down there. And of course, people also commended Governor Alex Oti for, taking up to even spend that amount on education, while others said it was bad. Others were commending him, saying the past administration that was led by Bazu did even worse. And of course, according to a report, Alex Oti inherited a very poor, bad, dilapidated state and structures from the past administration of the Bazu. Now, that makes me ask a question as to what happens to internally generated revenues? What happens to federal government allocations? You know, revenues allocated to the state government in Abia State. What happens to, you know, people who are being put in place, the media there, I mean, who are supposed to serve as the watchdog? I mean, what happens to the people? Was there nobody to speak out or something? Well, we'll discuss this as well. Let me also know your concerns and what you have to say about this report. The phone number is displayed on the TV screen. Moving away from that right now, getting to Ondo State, a state where crisis has been rocking for a while now. Well, remember that yesterday I had told you that there may be a call to hand over the position of governor, or should I say acting governor, to Ayeditiwa, who serves as Akeredolu's deputy. Well, that was due to a meeting where the State House of Assembly members had with the president. But political crisis, rather, rocking Ondo State has been turned down by the loyalists of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Well, reports has it that there are divergent views on the outcome of the meeting of President Tinubu with the Deputy Governor Lucky Ayeditiwa, members of the Ondo State House of Assembly and other stakeholders over lingering crisis in the southwestern state. Don't forget that Tinubu met with the leadership of the State Assembly and also the leadership of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the state at the State House of Abuja on Friday last week in a bid to intervene in the crisis threatening the peace of the state. According to a reliable source and reports making the rounds, the president had told the stakeholders that while Akeredolu should remain, the governor Ayeditiwa should be allowed to remain as the deputy governor, while the assembly should refrain from any impeachment moves. Well, the source also stated that the president asked Akeredolu to proceed abroad on another medical vacation in order to have a comprehensive treatment instead of staying in Ibadan, the Oyo state capital, where he has been since early September when he came back from his medical trip abroad. Well, Akeredolu is expected to write a letter to the assembly transmitting power to Ayeditiwa to function as acting governor pending his return if he makes the decision to even travel. However, a former member of the House of Representatives who is a major stakeholder in Ondo APC said loyalists of Akeredolu are kicking against the president's directive because they believe Ayeditiwa cannot be trusted again, given what transpired in the past. Now, they are also claiming that Ayeditiwa's acting governor will use the resources of the state to advance his political interest ahead of the governorship election slated for November 16, 2024. Meanwhile, the political crisis in Ondo State took a new turn yesterday. Well, the deputy governor, Lucky Ayeditiwa, is expected to sign undated resignation letter. According to the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Olamide Oladiji, the Speaker explained that the submission of an unsigned resignation letter would be in compliance with the agreements reached by the party leaders during the reconciliation brokered by President Bola Tinubu in Aso Villa over the weekend. Now, apart from Oladiji, other All Progressives Congress APC leaders from Ondo State present at the Peace Parley include Secretary to the Government, Mrs. Oladuni Odu, Party Chairman Ade Adetime, the Senator Jumo Ibrahim Ondo South. Well, the report of the Peace Parley was presented to lawmakers during yesterday's plenary, where lawmakers declined to approve moves by some members to pronounce Ayeditiwa as acting governor. Before the presentation, the Assembly approved the names of newly appointed management committee members for 51 government local government and, of course, local council development areas after their screening. So on those states, 33, of course, local government areas as well, of course. Away from that, now according to the speaker, he actually read the prepared text, other terms of the agreement at the meeting with the president are the suspension of impeachment proceedings against the deputy governor, withdrawal of court cases by Ayedatiwa, maintenance of status quo at the party, House of Assembly, and State Executive Council. Ayedatiwa to function as deputy governor and not as acting governor, an exhibition of loyalty by the deputy governor to Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Besides, the leaders are to ensure that APC structure is not polarized, while the deputy governor is not to seek vendetta. Now, Oladiji said a three-man panel consisting of himself, Udu and Adetimehin were appointed to monitor compliance with the resolutions. And he also cautioned gladiators fanning the embers of disunity due to political interest to tread softly. They also warned that they would face the full wrath of the law if they refused to retrace their steps. Now, the state has been on the edge amid jostling for relevance by political leaders since the return of Governor Akeredolu from his 3-month medical vacation in Germany on September 7th. Akeredolu has not stepped his feet on Ondo soil since his return and, of course, collection of power back from Ayedatiwa, whom he handed over to while traveling abroad. To douse this tension, the president invited political gladiators, including Ayedatiwa, to the Aso Villa on Friday night for a peace meeting. Now, the implementation of the resolution is threatened by the action of some of the gladiators, according to report, who have been interpreting the terms of the agreement differently, justifying the appointment of local government caretaker chairman. The speaker said constitutional procedures, including the public hearing, were undertaken to give legal credence to the creation of the LCDAs before the bill was passed into law. Now, taking a look at the crisis rocking on those states, the fact that the governor is ill and incapable of being on seat, and the fact that there is fear that the deputy governor may likely want to use that position as acting governor if given the opportunity to pursue his career. It makes me ask the question I keep asking every day. What is this fear governors have on their deputy, or distrust that they can't hand over power to their deputy? Or, I mean, what does the Constitution say? Yes, they will talk about that. Of course, it's right for a governor who is away from seat to hand over to the deputy as acting. I mean, that is why we have the acting right there. I remember, you know, the president, the former president would travel, and of course, the former vice president would always stand in acting capacity. The case had been before during the regime of Yaradua and Jonathan, and all this. These are the things we also look at when we come to the story. Moving away from that now, Nigerian Senate has invited Dangote Refinery, Nipco Gas, and other companies to explain how 120 billion central bank fund was spent. Now, they have invited 15 companies, including Dangote Oil Refinery, the Nipco Gas Limited, Nipco and Nipco PLC, to explain how they spent over 120 billion intervention fund that was disbursed to them by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, in a memo from the Senate to the companies signed by Senator Jaribe, chairman, Senate Committee on Gas yesterday, they said the companies are beneficiaries of the disbursement from the Nigeria Gas Expansion Program, the NGEP Intervention Fund, by the Central Bank of Nigeria. While the invitation said they must appear on Thursday, November 30th, at a meeting room in the National Assembly complex. Companies who are beneficiaries of the disbursement from the Nigeria Gas Expansion Program Intervention Fund by the Central Bank of Nigeria are invited, according to that, to an investigative hearing with the Senate committee. Now, one of the companies are NIPCO Gas Limited, 25 billion naira, NIPCO PLC, 5 billion naira, Hyde Energy Limited, 2 billion naira, Lee Engineering and Construction Company, 15 billion naira, Pinnacle Oil and Gas, FZE, 10 billion naira, Transit Gas Limited, 8 billion naira, of course, 7 Amalgamated Oil Company Nigeria Limited, Amacon, 5 billion naira, and Gas Nexus Limited, number 8, 10 billion naira. Number 9, First Modular Gas Systems Limited, 4.3 billion naira, Nova Gas Limited, 1 billion naira, Greenville Liquefied Natural Gas Company, 10 billion naira, AP LPG Limited, 8 billion naira, Dangote Oil Refinery, 5 billion naira, Delta State Government, 20 billion naira, MOP Integrated Services Limited, 2.5 billion naira. Now, the invited companies are required to appear with the progress report stating location of projects and the current status of the projects. Now, the meeting is scheduled as follows. Thursday is the date, 30th November 2023. The time is 2 p.m. and the meeting room is 107 New Senate Building, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Don't forget that in a recent related development, media had on November 23 reported that the Senate committee probing the rehabilitation of the country's 4 refineries threatened to demand for dismissal and trial of senior officials of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NNPCL, and other relevant agencies for shortening its invitation. Now, the chairman of the committee, Senator Issa Jibrin, had issued a threat following the failure of the senior executives of the NNPCL and other agencies to appear before it. The agencies, he said, were those involved in the turnaround maintenance project of refineries. Now, some of the agencies whose chief executive officers failed to turn up at the session but sent representatives included the NNPCL, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and others. And the senator also noted that from 2010 till date, over 12 trillion naira had been spent on the rehabilitation of refineries, yet none of them was functional. He said they will ask for a refund and dismissal of all the chief executives involved in the turnaround maintenance. And he said that for weeks they had been asking for documents which had not been given by the oil companies, a development that created suspicion. And they said they sent an investigation for more than 2 weeks requesting for documents, and the documents were not released. After 2 weeks, they want the chief executive to present it. More worrisome is that between 2010 and 2020, the sum of 4.8 billion naira, or trillion naira rather, was said to have been spent on operational expenses, and they know that they will not hesitate to escalate it to the highest possible level, including the possibility of refund and outright dismissal of some of the heads of some of these agencies, and of course possible go to jail, or possibly get them to jail actually. Now, it makes me want to maybe join Nigerians to give the Senate a nod on this one. I mean, if we can operate a system where we have accountability and transparency, this is coming from a body that said that, of course, the refineries would function by December. December is just, I think, 2 days or 3 away from it, a day away from now. So by the end of December, what's the possibility that any of these refineries are going to function when we have not even had, oh, this is the level of work done and this is the level of work still left undone? I mean, if we have such report, then we should be looking at having a refinery commission or halfway gone this year. Well, let's give it up to the Senate and see how the probing goes. One more thing before we go on a short break now. Sarah has already sent a message to the World Bank on suspension of loans to Nigeria's 36 states over misspending. Now, it has reviewed the total public debt portfolio for countries, 36 states, and the Federal Capital Territory to be at 9.17 trillion naira, according to the DMO. Well, the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on the World Bank to suspend issuing loans to Nigeria's 36 state over allegations of mismanaging public funds, which may include loans obtained from the institution. Well, in a letter dated 25th November 2023, the group specifically wants the bank's president, Ajay Banga, to promptly, transparently, and effectively conduct an investigation into the spending of loans and other facilities by the country's 36 state governors, and to suspend any loans and funding if there is relevant admissible evidence of mismanagement or diversion of public funds by any of the state. I don't want to go reading them by their words, but this is making it look like this administration, or this time around, SERAP, the Senate, everybody's on their feet. I mean, we're just talking about the Senate probing some companies, for asking them how they spent some funds that were allocated to them. And here we are seeing SERAP ordering the World Bank to, stop a loan process or to suspend a loan process because it has not been stated how well it was managed. I mean, this looks like a transparent process is about to begin in Nigeria, a new Nigeria, a renewed hope agenda. Well, let's find out how this plays out. We'll go on a short break. When we come right back, our guests will be here and we will talk better. So do stay tuned. We're coming right back.
For brilliant broadcasts and entertainment, sports on the go, and news from the world, watch Spectrum TV on StarTimes DTH channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website SpectrumTVLive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Spectrum TV,
broadening your horizon.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my
this
lord.
an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Here on Spectrum Television, and I told you we'll go on a short break. It was quite short. So we're back on the show, and of course it promises to be interactive and interesting. So feel free, you can also be a part of the show. Let's get to know your concerns concerning Ondo crisis. Let's also get to know what you feel about the Serap's words to the World Bank to suspend loans it intends to give to the 36 states, the Federation and the FCT. Well, we have a guest who will be joining us today, and the person of China Achero. He is a media practitioner, and of course he's also a good socio-political analyst. Welcome, my, how do I put it, my pressman. Welcome, sir. Okay, I think we're still having connection issues, but we'll try to reconnect back so we can talk better. So we're talking to China today, and of course he is right there in River State. Good evening and welcome to the show, China.
Good evening, pleasure is mine. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm very good, very fine here.
Okay, when you say you're very fine, it's like you're not in Nigeria or you're not feeling what we're feeling in Nigeria. But it's good to know anyway.
Okay, I'm fine, really I am.
All right. Okay, so a quick one. Let's get to Ondo and find out what's happening. I mean, some time ago we had talked about River State when there was, a rift between Fubara and the former governor Wike. And today we are looking at Ondo State. I mean, we all know Akeredolu's health is not in the right place. And of course, there have been calls for his deputy, Ayedatiwa, to take over as acting governor. Well, the president even came in, started to put in things in place and ensure that the crisis prevailing on Ondo State, is brought to an end. But it took a different turn. Now, some loyalists of the governor, Akeredolu, are not in support of Ayedatiwa serving as acting governor. According to them, they feel that he may use that time to canvass for support or want to put up his political career ahead of next year's election. So, what do you say about this? I mean, it's not the first time this is happening in Nigeria. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? I mean, when a governor knows he's not going to be in place, he appoints the deputy to serve as acting. What is the duty of a deputy anyway?
Something pretty straightforward. But we want to just, keep, going round and round and round the cycle. Now, if the governor was out of the country, if the governor was not feeling well, if the governor has returned to the country, if the governor has not been able to resume as governor of the state, then there must be something wrong. And according to the constitution, when you can no longer, how do I put it now, carry out your duties as an elected person, in this case the governor, then the deputy governor takes over as acting. But there is some supporters of the governor who insist on that not happening and actually using the House of Assembly to serve impeachment notice for the deputy governor. There are supporters of the deputy governor who insist that he should be announced as acting governor or else we go on the streets and protest. There's an issue of the president calling for peace. So, you see, we know the right thing to do. We are going to keep doing this because probably for personal gains, I wouldn't know. But if the governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, cannot or has not returned to his seat as governor, then obviously something is wrong. And if that thing that is wrong is strong enough to make him not able to perform his duties as governor, then we must do the right thing. We must follow the constitution. And that's why we have a deputy governor. We should do the right thing. But of course, we are going to see this drama play out again and again and again in Nigeria. Remember in the case of Yar'Adua as president and Goodluck Jonathan as vice president, and Goodluck Jonathan supposed to be at that time, confirmed as acting president for a bit. We had the same drama play out. We just do this in Nigeria where we know what our constitution says about things like this.
Now, I mean, if we want to get to what the Constitution says, because that's the basis, but don't you think it's now looking like politics? You talked about personal gains. Politics is now outriding or has taken over the rule of law, the Constitution. Because if the Constitution states that in a case like this, this should be done, and then we are seeing political interest or gains, or how do I put it, outright or outshine the rule of law, the Constitution, then there is a problem. Now, could it be the reasons are I would like to say the juicy take home that is attached to each political position? Because if it was just a public place where you come in, serve, and you go, and you serve like you're serving, not like you're coming to inherit wealth, like the politics in Nigeria today is a place where people come in to inherit wealth, not to serve, except for some leaders. I would, of course, make exemptions. Now, generally, it looks like politics in Nigeria, to a greater extent, is a place where you come to inherit wealth. Now, if it was a place where you come in to serve the public, do you think this would come to play? Because this is how it's looking like. And why is it looking that way? Now, political gains, political personal interest is now outshining and outriding the rule of law and the Constitution as well.
It's what it is. We are Nigerian, we are Nigeria, we have a peculiar way of doing things. Yes, don't the politicians serve? They do serve. They serve the people. But while serving, they make a lot for themselves. So yes, these are the perks of the job. And I want to agree with you, or from what you suggested, maybe if not for, this perks of the job, there won't be this desperation to serve. Because I don't see where people are desperate to serve. People don't really want to serve. But in this case, while serving, we make a lot for ourselves. We are that desperate to serve. It's simple. If the deputy governor is announced as acting governor, now people are scared that he might begin to build his own political structure. Now, the term political structure, remember the case in Rivers State, that people are scared he might build his own political structure. Now, what happens to the commissioner? We are doing his choice as commissioner or the choice of Rotimi Akeredolu, the governor. Now, if you're not his choice, will he make a cabinet reshuffle and bring in his people? That will mean that some people are going to lose their job.
Yeah.
There will be SAs, there will be PAs. There are loads of people who will feel we are here because of the governor. if this deputy comes in as acting governor, might lose her place, and that's why people are fighting against him, of course, being the acting governor of the state. Then, of course, he has his followers who feel it's our turn to shine or it's our turn to serve. So they want their man to be announced as acting governor and maybe subsequently governor of the state. So what happens? So they can now be shared from the national cake while serving, because they are all serving. So it's the politics, is the politics that is playing. But I think when the president sued for peace, he wanted status quo to remain. He wanted assurances that, there will be peace in the state. Let us shoot our sword. And I remember the deputy governor saying something like he's planning to carry all commissioners along and carry along.
Okay, I think we lost connection with.
Faction of the APC
okay.
who say who insists. There's a faction of the APC in the state who insists that the deputy governor be announced as acting governor, while there's a faction loyal to Ruth Akeredolu who insists that
the governor remains as the deputy governor remains as deputy. Okay, I think we're struggling to hear him at this point. Let's just see if we can reconnect back and have a smooth conversation. Well, that still hammers on the fact that there are juicy take-homes allocated or attached to political offices. Now, because if it is not so, I don't think that this Emilokam, it's our turn to shine, it's our turn to rule factor would be present. If the deputy governor wants to step into office and then as acting governor, why should he think of reshuffling the cabinet of the governor if they are competent and if they were there by merit and not by reward? I mean, there are so many questions and so many things we should put in place in our Nigerian political sphere. Well, join the conversation. The phone number is displayed on your TV screen. What is your concern? Let's get to know. What do you think about the crisis rocking Ondo State? Well, the phone number is displayed. You can also send us a WhatsApp or a text message. Let's see if we can reconnect back to our guest so we continue the conversation. Good evening and welcome once again, China. Okay, I think we still lost connections with him. So while we try to reconnect with him, feel free to join the conversation. The phone number is displayed on your TV screen. So you put a call across to us, or you can join us via a WhatsApp or a text message. Feel free to drop your comments. And of course, we are here to address those issues. Don't also forget that the president has presented the budget before the joint session of the National Assembly at the temporary chamber of the House of Representatives. Well, the 2024 budget presentation is actually the first since assuming office exactly 6 months ago by the president, while he has broken down the budget and how it should go. So we'll talk about that properly tomorrow. China, welcome back. Sorry about the disconnection issues.
it comes with territory, but good thing and bad.
Okay, so now we're talking about service as political office holders. Now, my worry is, why should Ayedatiwa, as acting governor, if given the permission, want to reshuffle the cabinet of the governor Akeredolu, if the persons who were there are active, are capable, are delivering their services accordingly, and also if they were there on merit, and if the governor or the acting governor rather is there to actually serve the people and not to bring in his own people, his own loyalists, his own followers to reward them. If that position, because politics in Nigeria, most times positions are given in order to reward followers for following or for putting them in office or for helping during the electioneering, you know, instead of people who actually merit that position.
You just said it, right? Politics in Nigeria is used to reward people. Now, we can't, let's not deny what stares us to the face. Now, politics is a game of interest, about interest. So, there's no way that every cabinet member in Ondo State is effective. There are a few of them who were put there on merit and actually doing a good job. There are a few of them who are put there on merit and have not delivered on their job. And there are a lot of them who are there because of interest. I'm a friend to the governor. I'm a friend to the governor's friend. I'm a friend to the presidency. So not everybody there is on merit and not everybody there is doing a good job. Now I just said earlier that politics is a game of interest. Now if the deputy governor takes over, he has his own interest. So there is no way he won't have a cabinet reshuffle. It may not be immediate. It may not even be in the next month or two. But he will certainly want to bring his own loyalists into government. Why is he going to do that? He needs to begin to build his structure because he's a politician. And that's what those already in government don't want. No one wants to lose his position in government. So they're going to fight. Nobody wants a change. We always fight change. And for me, that's the problem on those states right now. Those in government against those who are about to be in government. And if they sort that out, it's going to continue and it's going to mess up the state because while they are doing this, while they are fighting, then of course governance will take a back seat. We all know this.
Talking about our political system. Yesterday, there was a call by the former INEC chairman, Atahiru Jega, who called on the federal government, rather, the presidents, the Senate, to review the persons whom were appointed and confirmed, appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate as INEC recs, as resident electoral commissioners. Now, don't forget that some of these persons were actually accused of partisan politics, okay, accused of being card carriers of some of the political parties, especially the ruling All Progressives Congress. Now, I'd like to just do a little review of INEC, the entire system, when it was headed by Jega, and of course, given the fact that he's the one actually making the statement.
Yeah, a lot of people are not happy with how the election 2016 were conducted. Jega supervisor election. But that's past. That's 8 years ago. Now, we're talking about it now. And as Tahiru Jega, as a Nigerian, as a human being, as someone that, headed the Electoral Commission, he has the right to his own suggestions on how things are being run. Now, truth be told, out of the 10 recs who were recently appointed, 2 of them were accused of being card-carrying members of the ruling party EPC, like you said. Now, 2 of them have been said to be long-time allies of prominent politicians in Tinubu's government. Of course, it brings to mind the one from River State, Anubu Monoha from River State, who is said to be a close ally of the Minister of the FCC, Nyesom Wike, former governor of River State. Now, but the thing is, State, Akwa State, Edo State, Ekiti State, Gombe State, Kwara State, Lagos, and Nasarawa State. But the guy is saying it's not too late. It's not too late. If there are question marks regarding the integrity of these people, it's not too late to withdraw them, and that's the right call to make. We may think what we want to think about Atahiru Jega, but that's the right call to make. If there are question marks about their integrity, then they shouldn't be there as resident electoral commissioner. But in Nigeria, will they be recalled? I seriously do not think so. But it's a good call by Jega. Let's see if the civil liberties organizations, pressure groups, student union, labor congress, political parties, if they put the pressure on, just maybe something will change. But from what Jega said, I stand with him on this. It was the right, it's the right call to make. They can't be there when they have political affiliations. No, they can't be there.
Are asking and concerns, how did they escape the eyes of the Senate?
I don't think they escaped the eyes of the Senate, right? It was in public space. The moment their names were sent for screening, who they were, who they are, what they do, their affiliations, their persuasion, they are all in public space. There are protests, and there are commentaries. There were guests on TV shows, on radio shows talking about them. So they didn't escape. But I'm thinking it's a case of we have this in local parlance, carry go mentality, where once an offer has been made, it's expected it passes through the test, regardless of what negativity is around it. So I'm thinking that in the case of this 10, it was written already that they're going to pass the test. So in spite of all the protests, they're going to pass the test. So they didn't escape. They didn't escape. It was written in the sand. It was written that they will pass the test. And the Senate just, acted according to plan and they passed the test, which is wrong, if you ask me.
Okay. Okay, I like the fact that you said it's wrong, okay? Because, I mean, if persons are to be screened, these are the things that they should be screened for, screened about. What does to become an INEC reg, what does it mean? Are you supposed to have, affiliations with political parties? Are you supposed to be totally independent and all of that? Well, let's quickly move away from that now and talk about one more thing, and that is the fact that SERAP, of course, has called on the World Bank to suspend, giving out loan to 36 states of the Federation and, of course, the FCT as well. Now, I just need your take, one or two sentences. Now, this is also, okay, they have been accused of misspending the funds. And also the Senate has called on the NNPCL and 13 other companies to come and explain how they spent funds that were meant to refurbish, or would I say take care of refineries. Over the years, we know that money has been spent and of course meant for refineries to function. And we also had, of course, the chief executive officer of the NNPCL promising that the refineries may work by the end of this year. And of course, this is the end of this year. So if there is hope, then they should be able to show Nigerians this is the pace of work done and this is where it stops, this is where we haven't done so far. So what do you call that move by the Senate for that investigation? And of course, the SERAP as well, calling on the World Bank to suspend sending, giving loans to the 36 states and the FCT because of mismanagement.
Yeah, SERAP has done the right thing once again. Now, I check my record right. Between the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, the debt burden is 9.17 trillion naira. That's a lot. For the federal government owes 78.2 trillion naira, and this is the World Bank. And what SERAP is saying, there's nothing wrong with taking loans. I mean, the biggest economies in the world, they take loans. But the question is, what do you do with that money? So they can't account for the money they've taken from loans. Why should they get more money? And so SERAP is making the right call to World Bank. Now, if they can't account for how they spend the previous loans they've taken, they don't give more loans to them. It's simple. It's that simple. And of course, the state governments should be able to come out, call press conferences, come out with documentation, and let people know, let the world know, this is the loan we took, this is the project that loan was meant for, this is what they did with that loan, this was left, this is the state effect of the job done, this was left. People need to have confidence in state government. But right now, the average man on the street looks at state government as, those people that just eat money. So the average man on the street has lost confidence in his local government chairman, his state governor, his president, his senator, everybody. So we need to begin to be more transparent. So the setup has made the right call, and if the government wants to save their face, they need to come out and let us know this is what we did with the money, or this is what we are doing with the money. I mean, apart from that, I don't see why the World Bank should give more loans when the ones taken cannot be accounted for. I don't see why.
Looking at our time now, I would love to ask so many questions. I mean, there are so many things we haven't touched, but because of time, we have to call it a wrap for today. So I hope to have you again on the program some other time. Thank you so much, China Ateru.
Once again, the pleasure is mine.
All right, do enjoy your evening.
Do enjoy you.
Thank you. Back to the people. It's been a program, The Law of the People and Governance, and this is where we call it a wrap for the day. Trust me, tomorrow